Hey guys, my name is Ethan, this is Carberra. Welcome to the series where I teach you how to code in Python. Today, we are completing our little trilogy of function videos, and we're talking about args and kwargs. So args and kwargs are particularly powerful things in Python and other languages, but specifically in Python, they can be used to quote-unquote overload functions. So they can be used to take multiple input arguments and squash them down into one. Or kwargs is the same sort of thing, but with keyword arguments. So if I just demonstrate it like this, so we have a print list, and then we take a list L, or we take LST. Hopefully that's nothing bad. Otherwise that sentence is going to be taken out of context. And we're just going to print each element of this list on a different line. So we're going to have a print list, and this needs to be a list of strings, otherwise that's going to error. 1, 2, 3. And as you can see, we're taking a list that contains 1, 2, 3. I mean, it could take a tuple as well, but a list works the same way. And it prints 1, 2, and 3 in the shell on different lines. So this list is a single argument of 3 elements. What if we did something like... Oops. Oh my goodness. If I could actually type this. Now this is completely valid code. And instead of printing a list like this, you would do it like this. And as you can see, they both do the same thing. So this is possible due to this little asterisk here. This asterisk is saying, okay, take the remaining positional arguments and keyword arguments if kwargs is not defined, I believe, and condense them into a list. So if we actually print type, args, oh my god, why can I not type today? You can see that it's a class of tuple. Okay, it doesn't convert it to a list, it converts it to a tuple, but it's an iterable, is what I'm trying to say. So it converts it into a single collection, essentially. So if we just print args, we'll see that 1, 2, 3 is there as a tuple. So it's taking these arguments and it's condensing them into a tuple. And this can be really useful for a number of different reasons. So if you have a function that could take a variable number of arguments, but you don't necessarily have a default, then you could use this args to basically just stop any sort of errors occurring if the user decides that they're going to go mad with the input arguments. There is also kwargs as well that can do the same thing, but just with keywords. And this takes 2 asterisks. And if we print kwargs here, and then we print, oh my goodness, dot join. This is going to be a bit rough, but we're gonna work with it anyway. For kv in kwargs dot items. There we go. So as you can probably tell by now, if you've been watching the How to Python series so far, that kwargs dot items means that kwargs is actually a dictionary. So if we do print kwargs, num equals 1, or if we just have like num1 equals 1, num2 equals 2, and num3 equals 3. Come on. There we go. If we run that now, we can see that indeed, as we expected, kwargs is a dictionary, and it has num1 as our key and 1 as our value. Num2 is a key and 2 is a value. Num3 is a key and 3 is a value. And this line essentially just prints this. So as you can see, it's the same thing. So this also has a number of uses as well. So if you have a number of options that need to be passed in, it's more useful for object initializers or object constructors. So you can basically just say, if we just make up a mock-up one here, well, it would be in it, so we'll just call it init. So you'd have yourself for your object oriented, and then you have maybe like a list, so like a start, it's just out of context, ends, And then you'd have number with a default of 5 or something. And then you have your kwargs. And you may see it around as options or something like that. I always call it kwargs because that's the general standard. And then we'd have that, you'd have like self.start equals whatever. And then you could actually use the get method to actually get a variable out of there. So say, for example, get red, or if it doesn't exist, then do 45. It's essentially just a way of if you have a ton of different options, it's an alternative to having to write all of them out. Sometimes you will want to have all of these keywords there, so for autocompletes and linters and stuff, they know what to do. But the kwargs can be there, so if you just have a lot of extraneous stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be set all the time, or something that has like a really complicated setting method, so you could set all sorts of stuff here. And you could do it with that. But you're going to be using args more, at least for like basic stuff. Because args is typically a little more useful, but kwargs also very much has its uses as well. But it's more in the field of object-oriented programming, which we haven't covered yet, but we will be covering at some point after the basic segment is done. But yeah, these little asterisks do all their magic, and it's also the same thing when it comes like the other way around as well. So you could do, say, if I just comment all of these up, do something that prints have an asterisk 1, 2, 3. It prints them all separately because this asterisk unpacks the list into different arguments. And then you got the same for dictionary, so you could do something like this, num1. You probably wouldn't do it directly on a new dictionary, but I'm just gonna copy. Actually, I can't really copy that real quick, can I? Damn, son. If we do, I'm only gonna do 2 for this, I think. Otherwise, my typing is gonna be here forever. The microphone is kind of in the way a bit with how I now have it set up. Oh, that's an error. Why is that an error? Num1 is an invalid keyword argument for print. Are you sure about that? Oh. Right, yeah. That's not going to work like that. So the way this works for this, sorry, I'm getting a bit confused here, is we can pass in keyword arguments. So I should probably explain that print has a keyword argument called end. So you can have it like that, and then you can print hello, and then what this end character will be will be how it ends. So for example, we have this hello, and then there isn't a new line character because this is normally set to \n, the new line character. So what we could do here is, if we didn't want to use that syntax, we could use this syntax. We could actually just combine the two and create a massive mess. And do that, and then we end up with something just utterly ridiculous. So if we get rid of that for a wee second, we run that. So we're unpacking our list and just printing that as separate arguments. The print statement can handle that. And then we have this, which unpacks this dictionary into a set of keyword arguments. So essentially, it's the backwards way around of what this is doing. So that was a bit of a weird roundabout, and so I kind of forgot that functionality existed until I actually just showed you that. But that is essentially a thing that you can do should you wish to, although this syntax is arguably significantly superior. But hopefully args and kwargs make some sort of sense. Again, we're getting slightly more into the intermediate-ish stuff. I like to think of this as basics because it is sort of basic file handling. Or not basic file handling, that's next. I'm reading the thing again, all confused. Basic functions. Or basic function syntax, even though I didn't learn about args and kwargs until a long time after I started programming. But that's why I'm showing you them now. Even if you don't necessarily understand them completely, then you know they exist for later, and you can come back to them should you wish to. But yeah, if you do have any questions or anything about this, then feel free to leave a comment down below, or you can join the Discord server using the link in the description. While you're down there, I have all my socials, some my Twitter and my Twitch, etc. for you to look at should you wish to. But that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, then say hi down below. If you really liked it, then consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads. And if you really, really liked it, consider supporting me on Patreon. Of course, you don't have to, but really cool thing of you to do. With that in mind, I would like to thank my epic patrons for being epic. And I will see you next time where we do checkpoint number 3, which I need to make checkpoint 3 because I haven't done that yet. So I will see you for that.